Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show. My name is Rae Hughart. Katie Miglin's in the house. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn, as well as, of course, as a podcast episode on Teach Better Talk podcast. Friends, if you have not subscribed to YouTube or if you have not subscribed to wherever you listen to podcasts, please help a girl out. Like, this is how we reach educators. So please, 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 takes 2 seconds. Go follow us on whatever platform you like seeing the Teach Better team pop up on. We really appreciate you. We'll be right back. Good morning. It's Monday. Katie Miglin, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Yay, Monday.
Yeah. Happy Monday. Good morning, friends.
Super excited for Mondays. Did you do anything cool over the weekend?
No. I'm trying to even think. We had like softball season starting soon, so we had some stuff for that.
Are you still on the board of your softball?
Right. I am not only on the board, I am also coaching 8 and under.
Wait, have you coached previously?
I've been an assistant, but Stella is playing this year, and she's a little young for the league, but I think she's going to be fine because she is early. I think we've talked about this before, but she's in kindergarten this year, which she's early for kindergarten. So that means all the people that are she will perpetually always be the youngest on life because we started kindergarten early. So I wanted to coach because I knew that I could do it, but also that way I could not let her get away with shenanigans. So
I'm sorry, your middle child getting away with shenanigans doesn't sound like her at all.
Yeah. So Harper, the oldest, will play. I will not be coaching her this year, and she's very happy about that. And then I'm coaching the middle one. So yeah, so we had softball stuff this weekend, getting stuff ready.
There you go.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm trying to, now that the weather's nice and now that I'm more alive and awake, I'm trying to figure out, I'm following sports.
Okay. Tell me more about that, Rae Hughart.
I'm getting into following sports, not just being knowledgeable of a sport existing, but following. I'm watching the things.
Mm-hmm. So, did you just turn on ESPN and let it roll, or
Oh, no. I've committed. So I'm going to be good at golf this year. So I went to the driving range.
Okay.
Which I have a lot of issues with. So I'll get to that later. I'm watching F1 again because that's the zoom, zoom,
Yep.
Yep. Because I watched the whole Netflix series Drive to Survive. It's amazing. Now I'm watching F1. So there was a Grand Prix and I watched that. And then I'm also following and watching English Premier League because I always say I'm a Tottenham fan, but I haven't necessarily committed to watching all the games.
Okay.
Now I'm committed. And I am such a fan, Katie Miglin, that I can watch other teams play soccer and be interested because of how it affects my team.
Look at you.
Yes, I know.
Are you going to be a announcer, a spokesperson for sports?
Yeah, I think I could be. Give me a microphone with it. Don't they always have the
big one
square things, or they're really big and they're I don't know what they say though. I'm just gonna do
it. So that's phase 2. Phase 2 is now you have to watch the announcers so that you can that could be your backup life.
Here's my issue. Soccer goes really, the announcers say a lot of things really fast. I think that's too high a standard.
Okay.
Golf is really slow to watch and doesn't keep my interest, but I am watching Full Swing, which is on Netflix, and they talk slow. So maybe I could be a golf announcer if I wanted to watch golf, maybe. F1 is so fast that people expect you to slow down. So I could maybe do F1.
Okay. I'm happy to support you.
Have you watched any of these 3 sports in the last year of your life?
0%.
Like, have you ever seen an F1 race?
I have seen the preview on Netflix on the show. Does that count?
It's a really good show, you should watch it. It's like a documentary.
Here's the thing. I don't really like watching sports. I watched some of March Madness. I don't like watching them as a on screen because I cannot handle the commentary. I'm like, I don't want to listen to you speak about the players in the court or the field or wherever. Second, I would be happy to attend games. I don't mind attending and watching.
Yeah.
But I also I like to play them. Like I like to be in them. So it's weird that I don't like to watch them. But I don't want to be a racer. So
Wait, did you just slide in that comment about having, like, watched March Madness because you won our bracket?
It's weird, right? It's weird that you bring that up. I did indeed win. Thank you.
Yeah, so you won the thing you don't watch?
No, I did watch March Madness because I knew it mattered because I won. I got first place. Teach Better Community. It was a very intense nail biter, Carrie Pitstick and I. But
I can't believe that
championship.
It was between you and Carrie. That was a big deal.
Here's the thing. I just really was excited because most years I spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And this year I spent less than 2 minutes thinking about it and
won.
And hey, Jeff Gargis, if you're listening, just a reminder, I got first. Do you remember how that all started? Jeff said he was going to win.
Yeah, Jeff always thinks he's going to win. I think I was out first.
Okay, full transparency. I might have forgotten my password to the website where the brackets were housed for like a solid 2 weeks. And so it wasn't until someone told me that I was down, like I was in the lead, that I was like, oh, I should probably figure it out. So I couldn't tell you where you were.
This is the first bracket I did, and I did it totally blind. Like I did it the way that there are people are like, just participate, pick whatever. Yeah. And I picked Auburn to win, which in case anyone was wondering, they were out in the first game.
I don't know that I would have said this out loud to people, but there you are.
I mean, I'm apparently an Auburn fan. I think it was because they were orange and blue. I'm pretty sure they're like navy blue. At least they're orange, I think. And I like.
You're not even confident on that.
I'm not. Well, like they felt prestigious, even though I couldn't tell you where on the map they are. Someone in the comments tell me where Auburn is. They didn't win March Madness. Spoiler.
Thank you for that, Rae. I'm glad we went over that.
But I know F1 and I know the racers' names. Like I could probably name, like there's 20 total. I could probably get 50%.
Okay. I could get 0. You could say whatever name you wanted right now, and I'd be like, that sounds like a cool person.
Also, here's my issue. My favorite 2 racers are not my favorite team.
Oh, no.
I know. It's like following a sports player that joins a team that you don't like.
How are you going to survive this season?
I don't know. I'm going to have to drive to survive. This is a big deal. I have no idea. Okay. Anyway, shout out to Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. I'm your biggest fan. George Russell especially. I want to be... Okay, is it weird that I want to be president of George Russell's fan group?
Yes.
Because of his girlfriend. His girlfriend is so fabulous that, like, if I was president of his fan club, I might meet her.
It's I understand the leap that you're currently taking. It's very weird.
Whatever. And then I could totally name soccer players too. No big deal.
Then you could be president of all those fan clubs.
I don't know any of their wives or girlfriends. I don't know. Lewis Hamilton is single according to Google. So.
And I trust everything I find on the internet. So.
Right. Like I could be Lewis Hamilton's next girlfriend.
I think we should start that trend on the Googs.
He only makes like 17.2 million a year. So
that's
it's like,
it?
I know. I'm like, is it worth it? Can you really?
Right.
Like, I don't want a comparable salary with my husband.
Okay. On that note, team talk.
Thanks for sticking with us. We actually have a team talk segment that we've planned and prepared, and we have a listener question, which might be my favorite vibe on a listener question of all time. So if any of you are submitting listener questions, could you do them like this? Because I really like this.
Okay.
This one, it gives us like a little bit of context and then the story. So rather than just grabbing, or then the question. So just rather than just grabbing the question, I'm going to read the whole message. You ready?
Yeah, do it.
You might blush a little bit. It says here, listener question. I'm a huge fan of your podcast and find it incredibly valuable as a high school English teacher. You had a recent episode where you discussed student-led discussions, and it really struck a chord with me. I'm struggling to balance guiding the discussion without dominating them. Any tips for keeping a conversation focused while empowering students to use their voice and not interrupting them? Boom.
Okay.
It's a good listener question. We love those little like paragraphs. Send them in. That's so much more fun for us.
Well, and I like that they noted that we have discussed this in some capacity, but then they are wanting a little bit more direction.
Yes.
Okay,
I think anytime we're looking at facilitating discussions with students, we need to be really specific with our goals of the discussion. And it needs to not only be obviously shared, those expectations with students, but we internally need to have a very clear objective that we're looking to gather. And it's okay if you have one or two objectives, but they need to be very clear. Like I think of a discussion very similar to student conferencing, which, by the way, any of you interested, if you want to improve on your student conferencing skills, like there's a course in the academy that I've heard is pretty great. Like definitely one I would recommend. But a student discussion to me is very similar to preparing for a student conference.
Yes. So yeah, clearly defined objectives of like what are your goals to get out of it, but then also having those aligned to what your next steps would be. Because what you want is to be able to walk away and either know, like you really want to know where a student is at in their understanding of the content, but then you want to know, are they ready to move on? Do they need reteaching or whatever? But I think as far as like getting them to be more student-led, but also focused.
Yeah.
I think that just comes with the little bit of facilitation that you might need. You know, we know sometimes kids go off on tangents and we know that they can get derailed quickly, but making sure that they're also aware of what your goal is. Like, you know, here's what we're trying to get out of this conversation, or here's what the topic will be. But sometimes, I don't know, maybe this is like going to strike a chord, but sometimes I'm okay with some of the tangents because it kind of gives me a perspective of where a student is at and their thinking.
Yeah.
Because they're taking something that on surface level might seem very off topic, very like out there. And they somehow got the topic you were discussing as a class, they got to there. So there might be a relationship. So if you notice the student is off task, feel free to say, hey, I noticed this isn't quite what we were talking about. Can you tell me what your thinking was? How did you get there? And see what their thinking was, because sometimes that's where you find like the rich conversations, like the really deep thinking happening in students.
I would also encourage every educator trying to facilitate discussions to either type up or steal ours, because we have a free download you could grab that you could like cut. But I would give your students DOK level 1 or DOK level 2 question stems. Like, because the biggest issue with discussions is that you as the teacher ask a question, the students answer it, but they don't know how to go back and forth with each other.
Right.
So if you give sentence starters or question stems, make them low level that way, especially for your groups that are just starting off, like sometimes that at least gets people talking. If they're too rich, then creating those questions become a little bit more difficult for your students. You're kind of challenging them in a way that may not be beneficial for you. Yeah. But if you give them those sentence starters or question stems, then you can use almost like your eyes to visually be like, like you're pointing to the resource, you're hinting at the resource. You can that way it doesn't take your voice. Something that helps you facilitate discussion that doesn't take the teacher's voice is always helpful.
And modeling it too, like modeling early on in the year what a conversation in your classroom should look like and promoting students to bounce back and forth, because so many classrooms are ran with, I raise my hand, I answer a question, it goes back to the teacher, and it's like that same kind of pattern. So if you can early on establish when a student speaks, if another student has a thought off of that, then they openly speak, and you can manage it however you want, but like making it so that students feel comfortable to say like, Rae, I really agree with you, but here's something else I noticed. And having that rich dialogue is so much more beneficial than the like, I have a thought. And then, it's very rigid.
I wonder if you could almost create, and I'm like totally just making this up right now, but I wonder if you could create a little index card that every student had during a discussion that maybe had like 3 sentence starters, 3 question stems, and then at the top, I'm picturing like how to format your response, because you want to sandwich like give a positive, state your next thought, comment, question, whatever. And then I wonder if the third element of that is like, and direct it to the next person. So if I was like, Katie, I really liked your thought on this, but I wondered about Timothy's response in chapter 4 because it didn't seem to align with that. Jeff, do you have thoughts on that? Yeah. Like that way you're like practicing directing. That can kind of help with, I don't know, maybe you just like give them those like little formats and then they can look at it when they get nervous or as they're in the discussion.
No, I like that. I like the idea that they would have something, especially if they I'm not even thinking about the nervous kids. I'm just thinking about the kids who like kind of dive in and they get lost in the conversation and like forget what they should do or how they can offer. There's sometimes kids that like just get really wrapped up in their own thoughts and they like derail it on accident. Some of the things that I found success, and I know I've said this before, but I told students they couldn't speak more than once or twice without someone else, like the rest of the class or the rest of the group speaking. That really helped with management as far as getting everyone to feel like they had a voice. So anything you can do so that your quiet students feel like they have a platform, and then also that your more excited students feel like their opinion matters, their feelings matter, their thoughts matter, all the things, but that they can actually benefit from other students talking too, like leveraging that with your quiet students, but also like, it's okay if your quiet students don't want to talk a lot. So what are other ways that they can participate in the conversation?
Yeah, no, I like that. I think thinking through a discussion as more than just your voice and thinking as a teacher and from a student perspective to be like, how can I cue differently without using my voice? How can I indicate agreement or that they're doing well without using my voice? So, like you said, students like speaking only once or twice and then they need to stop. Like I would use, when I did student conferences, I frequently did big groups of student conferences. So it was more of a group discussion. And we had like language we would use, where I'd be like, pause. And then you were on pause or mute before I let you, and I would have to unmute you for you to participate. You could do that with little cards. I mean, there's just ways to like indicate without the teacher sharing their voice. But I love this question, especially at a high school level. I think this is a great skill to practice before heading into, the business world. So excited for those students to be able to have this type of practice, but you can do this at any grade level. So
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Thanks for tuning in to Teach Better Today morning show, where the Teach Better team gets to join you live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We will see you tomorrow, friends. Talk soon. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.